Okay, so Gus, I hear you've been recently in the kitchen, and more recently you've come out of the kitchen with maybe some special sort of concoction.
Yes, we have something very spicy to talk about today, I
Oh,
believe.
really?
Yeah, it's actually very spicy food.
And what is this spicy food of yours exactly?
None less than Marlin, but with new horizons, endless
What?
arrow, and only 8 2 blocks.
Show us. All right, and before we begin, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to really like, maybe just like, sort of not like, or you didn't press it.
Poor people.
All right, okay. Or really don't like the video.
Hey, El Giri, ven aquí, ven aquí. I'm gonna sell you a Marlin deck. Yeah, you, come here. I'm gonna sell you a brand new Marlin deck. So yeah, I was trying to build some Ranger for Calling Valencia, and Riptide was very bad. And I got a very bad flavor last time I played him with Manta Riptide. It's just, that bow is not it for me. So I was trying to cook some Marlin, and I started playing a very aggressive Marlin list with yellows and no blues, and just trying to hammerhead zero-cost arrows as sort of the core idea. It obviously didn't work because you need 2 yellows for the hammerhead, right? So then I was like, okay, let's try to do some things with blues, but we still keep that core idea that we are gonna use the hammerhead on zero-cost arrows, and that actually works very well with blues because you have Tunic on 3, and Tunic on 3 with a blue, it's a 2-card 8. And if you have a gold and a blue, you crack the gold, you have 1 floating, you draw another blue, which the deck is going to be half of it's going to be blues. You're still sending a 2-card 8, right? So suddenly you have sort of a core Ranger value engine when you have a 2-card 8 as the base of what you're doing. And Endless Arrow, for example, it's even more than 2-card 8 because it comes back to your arsenal, right? So it could be 2-card 12 if it hits the next turn, right? So that was the core idea. So how do we build on top of that? Of course, we're going to have like a very big blue base. We're going to play 28 blues, and we're going to play the harpoons, not the yellowfin harpoon, because the blue base has to be a bit special. Why does it have to be a bit special? So if we are building our game plan around like this 2-card 8, means we are a grindy deck, right? So we have to bring out the Ranger the Ranger engine for grinding, which is New Horizons, right? So with New Horizons, whenever we 3 of a kind, we get the 3 Marlin triggers. We can put 2 face-up arrows in our arsenal, and then we're gonna send one of them, right? But the other one we can sandbag there, and we can keep an arrow there for turns and turns. And whenever the game is not going how we want, or like let's say we set up a big harpoon and then we are not drawing the blues, we just block out a bit, and then eventually we draw the blues, and then we have the harpoon there waiting for us. And in the meantime, we can do some value plays with the zero-cost arrows, right? So I mentioned blocking out a bit. Marlin has been so far basically a no blocks type of deck, where you are playing a lot of red 2 blocks in the buff slot in order to have very powerful turns and very powerful harpoons, right? But if you have New Horizons, it's to sort of have a long game where you are extracting value of your double arsenal, right? And Tunic is the same idea. So we need a deck that blocks. So the whole deck blocks 3. We're only playing 8 2 blocks, which is going to be the 3 of a kind, like, obviously, 3 of a kind. Then the 3 codex, obviously, and then a couple gold tip, which have a bit of a weird role, but they are not central to the strategy. So basically, in most matchups, you are on 6 2 blocks, which means that the rest of the deck blocks 3, and that means you block like a beast. You have a hand you can block out very well, and this sort of flips a lot of matchups, I feel like. So talking about blocking, how else do we block efficiently? Well, we need 4 blocks. And these are where the 4 blocks that of choice, right? Why these 2, which are a bit like unconventional 4 blocks in like a traditional defensive deck, right? One would expect more a sink below or a shelter. Well, because we are not playing Dominion, right? And our bow doesn't load, and we don't have guaranteed goals, especially in the early game, because we don't play buffs, so our harpoons are just for 10 or 13, so they can be blocked quite easily in the early game. We need so that all the deck reloads, right? So these are 2 4 blocks that reload. Return Fire puts the arrow back in arsenal. It works very well with these zero-cost arrows that I was talking about, which are going to be Endless Arrow and Drill Shot, right? So it works very well with our sort of value engine. So Return Fire works very well with the zero-cost arrow plan. And then Take Cover also works very well with the zero-cost arrow plan, right? But because let's say we are in a defensive spot, we have a 4-card hand where we have a zero-cost and the Take Cover. The Take Cover can also be in arsenal. And now we have a free reload. We can play a 1-card hand of sending the 0/4/4 with an on-hit. And if they use armor, that's good. They use the armor, and then the harpoons on the late game are gonna hit like a truck, right? So that's why we also play Drill Shot, to get rid of the armor. So while we are on this, everything has to reload. It's important on the blue base. This is not the classic blue base of the aggressive Marlyn decks, where the blue base is arrows because you don't want to miss of 3 of a kind, right? Here the blue base has a different role because you are not going to miss of 3 of a kind. I think the deck plays like around 27, 30 arrows, right? But you play blues that reload, right? So Sift drawing is super important. Because it allows you to reload. If you have Sift and another Harpoon, you put the other 2 cards down, and you're going to get 2 Marlyn triggers. If you draw 2 blues, you're going to be able to send a big Harpoon, for example. Worst case scenario, maybe you load 2 arrows, you send one of them with the Hammerhead. So although this card, if you pick up this deck list, this is the first card you're going to think, oh, I'm going to cut that for like Yellowfin Harpoon, something like that. Don't do it. Play with Sift. It's crazy turn 0 to set up the double arsenal, and it's needed on the rest of the turns to be able to reload. So just finishing up a couple touches, like the Quiver is just good in like 3 of a kinds or turn 0s, just to reload, right? It gives you outs. We play the Hook because, I mean, we need it for the late game engine combo. It's a 1 block, and it gets us extra gold, which is good in the mid game to dig for like big harpoons. Then on the feed, I've been playing, at the beginning of playing this list, I was playing a lot of Snappies because it's very good with Endless and Drill Shot. But right now I think Sarong is better, basically because this deck needs to get rid of the opponent's armor, and Sarong basically gives you more time to get rid of that armor. So this is basically a fancy 2 block. You never activate this the ability because you'll never have a big hand. You'll be just blocking most of the time. So this is the core idea of the block. We have of the deck, sorry, which is Marlyn that blocks. Everything is 3 blocks. We are blocking very efficiently. We are extracting value with like the 2-card 8s with the 0-cost arrows. And then when your opponent has no armor, we're gonna send big harpoons, still blocking efficiently. And yeah, we're gonna abuse the Tunic with the 3 of a kind, which is like a crazy combination. We're gonna abuse Codex to recycle the harpoons. And yeah, a Harpoon for 10 is the same that a Harpoon for 17 if they have no armor. So instead of trying to play buffs to go over their armor, we are going to try to block and send value so that they need their armor to play efficiently. And when they have no armor, the Harpoon for 10 is going to hit, is going to destroy their turn, and we're going to win that game, right? So that's the Marlyn that we're going to talk about today. So let's quickly talk about the arrows in the deck. So the first arrow we've already talked about a bit. It's Endless Arrow. This is the best Ranger arrow. It just snatch that throw snatch. It's very good, blocks 3. It's very good. It's your value engine, right? We have a problem with the opponent's armor, and we need more 0-cost cards, so we're playing Drill Shot. It's a bit of a weird inclusion in Marlyn lists, but I think in this shell, it really shines. Now let's talk about the harpoons, right? So harpoons, we're just playing the normal harpoons, the King Kraken, the King Shark, and then the secret harpoon, battering bolt. You need this into the reaction meta, and yeah, it's basically, it fits the curve of pitching 6, sending a 10 cost, 10 power arrow. Blue harpoons, we're playing red fin and blue fin. We are not playing yellow fin because I think it doesn't fit the blue base, but that means the prism matchup is a bit bad, but I think it would be bad anyway. There's a cheeky bolt and shot in the blue base. I think this is very good. It forces blocks out of aggro decks when they have 3 of a kind. So that's very good because you are threatening a reload. So yeah, that's why I'm playing it, and I think it also lets you go wide into gravy and things like that. And finally, some Mage Master Arrow to try to fatigue Verdances and then to put Florians and Room Blades in trouble. That would be all the arrows in the deck. All of them were 3-offs. So let's talk about the rest of the cards in the deck. First, we have the power cards, the cards you have to include in probably any Marlyn list, any Ranger deck. It's going to have a Codex, 3 of a kind. Yeah, this is very powerful, especially with New Horizons, because it gives you 2 reload triggers, so you can sandbag an arrow, such a Mage, Master arrow, or whatever. This gem, this is the only Fable I'm playing. I don't think, to be fair, I don't think the Eye of Ophidia is needed in this build, because you really need to block. Like, the deck is built around blocking, so having a non-block card in your hand, I think, can punish you a lot. I think this is indispensable because you need it for some end-game strategies, and because getting a gold in the early mid-game can really push you forward. I don't think Eye of Ophidia is necessary. To be fair, I haven't tested it because I don't have it, so why test it? But in a deck built around blocking, I don't think it's going to be needed. So let's move to the buffs, right? We're only playing 2 buffs. Well, yeah, we're also playing the blue one, but we're not playing 2 buffs. So Big Game Trophy Shot, a 3-off, because it blocks 3, and it's yellow. And then I'm playing a couple of Gold the Tip. So the reason of this is that this is yellow, and because you're playing Tunic and you need 6 to send a 10, yellow cards are actually very similar to blue cards once every 3 turns, right? So into some decks you need to push some damage, you need some extenders, and but they need to be yellow. If they are red, they destabilize your deck too much. So this is why I think this is actually like a solid card for this deck. Then let's go for the defensive options. So take cover and return fire. We already talked about them. We are playing Tar Pit Trap and Boulder Trap. So Tar Pit 3-off, it's very good. It just makes Syndra very easy. And Boulder Trap, a couple of Boulder Traps. Again, we need to get rid of the opponent's armor, so we need Boulder Trap to do that into some matchups like Earth, some Room Blades, Guardian. So now let's take a look at the blues that we are playing. First, let's take a look at the 2 blues that make gold. So the idea is that every blue almost has to reload. So these 2 reload because they generate gold, and it's very good to have some extra gold during the mid games. And also, these 2 cards mean that the gravy matchup is free, because you just fatigue them with the Endless Arrow and these 6 flippers, like that. You turn down their allies face down. So if they are playing tempo, you just block out, send Endless, kill their ally, comes back. Remember, the whole deck blocks 3, so no Conqueror shenanigans. You can just block a Conqueror very easily. And then if they try to set up and put allies in their grave, you just, sure, Seafloor Salvage, I'll get a gold. Sure, I'll flip it and get a gold. So it's actually very easy to beat gravy with this deck. Then we get some 0-cost cards that draw. This is just because they draw. And you know, it's very good in turn 0 to set up the double arsenal, and just they don't clog the arsenal. I was playing more these rounds on me, but I'm playing 1, and I think this blue is cuttable, and we'll take a look at some other blues that could be played in this lot. I just was playing 1 now. I think the most important thing of this card is not Syndra matchup or whatever, it's that it says draw a card, so it lets you reload. Then let's take a look at the blues that don't reload. One of them is Catch of the Day, which, I mean, it's a buff, so it's a very good late game card. This is a very second, third cycle deck, so it's good to have buffs that are blue block 3, right? They give you, and also they give you more power if you get tempo. And then I was playing 3 Murderous Rabble. I believe this card is also cuttable. But yeah, I felt it was a very good utility card for like maybe gravy or something like that. And I was also playing the blue bolt and shot that we talked about before. So that would be the blue base for the deck. 28 blues total. Okay, we made it to Scotland, so it's time to talk about the matchups. So why play this deck? Well, the main reason is that it's very, very good. It wipes the floor with both Syndra and Gravy, right? So if you go to other deck decks in Tim's channel, Riptide deck decks, even though Riptide was BDIF, you will see that my takes on the matchup percentages are quite conservative, you know. I don't tend to oversell matchups. And I'm telling you, Syndra and Gravy are an absolute buy, like an actual buy. So how do we beat both of them? Well, for Syndra, you just have Endless Arrow, and your whole deck blocks 3 and 4. So you just block, 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 send endless, block, 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 send endless. With a 1 card and the tunic, you're sending it for 8, and then suddenly you get a king Kraken Harpoon. You put it in arsenal, block, 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 block. Suddenly you have 2 blues. You block out a bit, 4 block here. You have a bit of armor. You send the king Kraken, and the game is just over. So you can grind them down, and then you have like disruption they cannot play around. So it's a very good matchup. And then Gravy, you just fatigue without even trying. You again, you have Endless. Endless is the key card of the deck. Endless can kill all the allies without you losing any cards of deck in deck. And then you have Seafloor Salvage and the Sunken Treasure. So you just flip the allies if they try to set up. So they cannot set up a big turn, and then you are killing everything with the Endless. And if they play like they usually miss sideboard, so they don't play the Fatigue package. But even if they play the Fatigue package and they play like a Humperdinck, you just pay for the bow, and the Endless comes for 8. The Endless kills everything. Like it's just very easy to fatigue them, right? And again, all your deck blocks 3, so you are blocking the Conquerors without any trouble. Those are the good matchups. Bad matchups. So I wasn't really ready for the Mario matchup. I didn't practice it enough, and I lost against 2 Marios. So yeah, that was not very good. I think it can be improved. So even though we play a lot of D-Reacts, it's just very bad matchup. But like I think if with Ripple Away on the blue base, it could be improved. So to prevent the Caliceras. So that's one idea, one improvement over the deck. If I had to play it now, I would put the Ripple Away on the blue base, probably taking out some of the blues that don't draw. And Verdance is a bad matchup. You just have to full fat deck and prevent all the damage you can. Like don't take physical, don't take arcane, AB3. Yes, here I had the equipment for Verdance. Sorry. So you're actually playing Trench, No Room Boots, Bullseye Bracers, and the Quiver. So full AB3 and the Quiver, so 2 more life. And then you play the Mage Master Arrow, and you just try to fatigue them with a full stack. It doesn't work that often, but it can work. Florian is actually a good matchup-ish. Like you have to block a lot at the early game. Once they have no armor, your harpoons are very good. I will put in the in the description of the YouTube video, I'll make a Fabrary with some details on all the matchups, so that people can pick up the deck and just play with matchups. So that's yeah. If you have any doubts, just leave a comment. Let's do some shoutouts. Paul is the fucking goat. He took the calling down and he deserves it. He's not only the cutest gamer, but he's probably one of the best gamers too. So like that he has that going for him. Dan, I like Finley here. I like the rest of the Scottish gang. Ryan, it has been a very fun. All the Thistle Tavern gang, they have been very nice. So buy your cards in Thistle Tavern. Also, I wanted to shout out these sleeves that I bought because I like them a lot. They are like longmouth.world sleeves, and I thought they were cool. This is not paid promotion or anything. And just Fatigue Ranger is back on the menu, you know. It's back. Now you can block and send arrows, and I think you can win. I truly think the deck's good. So yeah, hopefully you try it out, and also shout out to Tim, because he was the one that was adamant that fatigue range, like blocking Marlynn, was a thing, and I didn't believe in it. But then I tried it, and his core ideas were very important at the beginning. So yeah, he's not only leeching off of me; he also puts a grain of salt. No, I don't even know what I'm saying. Okay, bye bye.